Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Since the update has been out for a day, it's time to shift focus once again from the major update to an event which is upcoming. They've just released the first devlog for a new event, the Takushu Heiki event, which is going to be coming out pretty soon. My guess is this is the Build-A-Bear event or the crafting event, which they usually do around this time. When I type in Takushu Heiki, what I get is a Mecha Godzilla, so we'll see what goes on. The devlog itself is actually for the F100F Super Saber though, which is going to be available for China at rank 6. It's only going to be an event vehicle though, so you won't get any of the premium bonuses, and it'll just be their stock once you unlock it. The F100 is a pretty interesting vehicle when it comes to War Thunder. It's in a super nice place right now at 9.3, along with stuff like the F104, and also, of course, stuff like the Lightning and the MiG-19 PT. Pretty dominant BR for those vehicles, and to see another one added to them is going to be kind of nuts. Let's get into the history of this vehicle. In response to the high accident rates after its introduction to service, believed to be caused by inexperienced pilots, the USAF ordered the construction of a dedicated twin-seater trainer version of the F100 Super Saber. However, that was initially conceived as a trainer conversion, quickly evolved into a dedicated combat trainer variant of the aircraft. The first production unit of the aircraft, designated F100F, flew in March of 1957 and featured similar performance characteristics as the F100D, albeit with a reduced forward-facing armament and also payload. In total, over 330 F100Fs were built. The devlog also gives a date for when this event is going to start, and it's going to start on the 26th of September, so make sure to get ready. As I said, it's looking like it's probably going to be a Build-A-Bear event, but as more vehicles get announced, we'll see what is going around. So when it comes to this F100F, obviously in the Chinese tech tree, we already have the F100A, and the F100A is actually super fun to play, because it's kind of just a lighter version of the D, but with pretty much the same armaments, so you can throw it around the air better, and I actually prefer it to the D because one of the things about the D is it's a little bit cumbersome, especially when it gets up to speed. Its maneuverability really takes quite a hit, so you have to massively rely on the missiles. The F100F not having as much of a armament for its wear might be a bit of a problem, but it does get access to a bunch of different stuff. For example, the AGM-12 Bullpup is on this vehicle, and if anybody's used the Bullpup, they'll know that it's still pretty effective even after some of the nerfs that it's received over the last few years. I still remember stuff like A4s taking over matches, especially in ground forces because of that thing, and it still can happen even with stuff like the Scimitar in the British tree, which can carry 4 of them. Also, it has 6 hardpoints. It can carry the drag bombs, FFAR rockets, and also incendiary bombs, plus just standard regular bombs as well. So if you want to use this to ground pound to be able to grind it out, or just use it in ground, you will be able to. The only difference or issue with it is it only carries 2 20mm cannons instead of 4 20mm cannons of stuff like the F100A and also D. To me, this isn't really too much of an issue, if I'm honest with you. It's not something that is going to be, a huge issue, because the simple fact is, once you hit with those 20s, generally you're going to do some damage, and that'll slow down the vehicle that you're trying to annihilate, and then eventually you'll be able to finish it off. It's something why I've never been so, bad on stuff like the Aidens and the Defers. As long as you get a crit on a jet, it loses so much performance nowadays that you basically won the fight anyway. The only issue is if there's multiple jets in the area, then it becomes a bit of a problem, which does happen, and definitely can have or, set up a serious issue. One of the things about this F100F, though, is it wasn't equipped with flares, and therefore what they've done is they've made a balanced decision when it comes to its missiles. Instead of giving it AIM-9Ps, which would have caused its batter rating to increase, instead what they're going to do is make it more generally designed for ground RB roles, so giving it more CAS options instead of AIM-9Ps. Now, what's interesting is if you have a look at the video for the machine, and also if you actually just have a look at the pictures, they do have some Sidewinders on it, so my guess is they're just going to give it AIM-9Bs, maybe AIM-9Es. because obviously the AIM-9E is just the upgrade of the AIM-9B. The AIM-9E is also what's on the F-100D and also on the F-100A, so why not kind of stick it there? So what you're going to get is you're going to get kind of an event vehicle version of a very similar vehicle, the F-100D or the F-100A, depending on, you know, which one this is modeled off. It did say it's more like the D, so it'll be a little bit less maneuverable, but also access to some different ordnance. And for me, I think that's good. You know, the F-100s right now are in a really nice place in the game. They're sat in a BR bracket which just annihilates anything under it, and also still has the speed to be able to deal with stuff above it. It's something that I found with the Lightning. The Lightning F6 was super fun to play recently because of the fact it had the acceleration to be able to deal with pretty much anything apart from the F-104, and the F-100 has exactly the same capabilities. So this should be really nice. Also, at the same time, China, especially when it comes to its aviation stuff, it's definitely got better over the years. When it released the Chinese aviation tech tree, a lot of people focused on ground and its copy and paste nature. Pretty much the whole of the aviation tree was just full on copy and paste from the other nations that were around the place. And now, with a little bit more development, especially of its higher echelons, it now does have a little bit of uniqueness to it. But I also feel like it's going to be quite hard for people to get through those early areas, because if they played other nations, it basically just feels exactly the same as previously, right? So a vehicle like this, even though it will be poor at grinding the tech tree, will at least give you something that's more unique compared to what you've seen in previous areas. They do also talk about the fact that the event news post is scheduled to be published on the 25th of September, which of course is next Monday. So the event will launch on the 26th of September, and also the news post is scheduled for the 25th of September. So even though they're not giving you a lot of time between the start of the event and also the news update telling you how the event's going to be, basically they are saying, okay, just look forward to this, make sure to be ready, it's coming soon. I wish there was a little bit more of a break between the major updates and also the next event. I feel like it's very hard to sit down and enjoy all of the vehicles without having to worry about the next thing going on. But I suppose that's just what goes on in War Thunder now. Instead of, you know, sitting down and enjoying what is current, instead we are constantly talking about the future and constantly talking what may come and also what is the next step. That is a huge part of the War Thunder talking and also what's going on. Hopefully people enjoy this F-100F. I know I will, after enjoying the other two. And I wonder if there's any other variants we could see in the game. Is there any which kind of are a bit odd? Maybe some test variants, maybe some which we used in different ways because of the fact of its kind of revolutionary nature of the vehicle with America and also other nations which moved them around. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and we'll see what else is coming in this event. Probably 3 other vehicles, as usual, for these types of crafting events. Nowadays, it seems like every event has 4 vehicles, 1 lower one, and then 3 1 mid one, and then 2 high ones. But hopefully, the main thing with this crafting event is I just hope, if it is a crafting event, that we can get all the vehicles in it, instead of what it has been previously, which is you have to use the market, or you just have to straight up pay to be able to get everything. Kinda sucks with the pay-to-win nature of it, and also just the pay-to-play in general. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Juan the Panda, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, Bareen, Peter Grayling, Alan Hacker, Sem Alslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R., and also Lafouche for supporting the channel.